Ever wondered how to completely turn your world upside down in just 7 minutes? Like totally flip the script and watch everything go haywire? You know, just for laughs and maybe a little bit of chaos? Well, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the chaos. Picture this, your buddy's birthday. You're feeling mischievous, so you decide to pull a harmless prank. You replace his sugar with salt, imagining his confused face after the first sip of coffee. Except it backfires, big time. He takes a huge gulp, spits it out, and blames the coffee shop. Now he's banned from his favorite spot, all because of your harmless prank. See how quickly things can spiral? 1 minute it's sugar, the next it's a full-blown coffee shop exile. This, my friends, is just the beginning. Let's see what happens when we crank up the chaos a notch. We've all been there. At some point in our lives, we've all found ourselves in a situation where telling the truth seemed like the harder option. You tell a little white lie to avoid trouble. Maybe you think it's harmless, just a tiny fib to smooth things over. Just a tiny fib, no harm intended, right? You convince yourself that it's for the best, that no one will get hurt. But here's the thing about lies. They have a weird way of multiplying. One lie leads to another, and before you know it, you're in too deep. You tell one to cover up another, and before you know it, you're tangled in a web of deceit. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Remember that time you told your friends you couldn't make it to a party because you were sick? It seemed like a simple way out. Then they bumped into you at the movies. Awkward. Suddenly your harmless little lie was exposed. Suddenly that harmless little lie snowballed into a social catastrophe. You felt the weight of your deceit crashing down on you. Trust me, I've been there. It's a lesson learned the hard way, but it's one that sticks with you. It's like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Not pretty. The best way to avoid this chaos? Just tell the truth from the start. We're creatures of habit. Wake up, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, the usual morning routine. But what happens when we throw a wrench in the gears? Just a tiny disruption, a minor deviation from the norm. Let's say you decide to skip your morning coffee. Sounds harmless, right? But then the caffeine withdrawal kicks in. Headaches, fatigue, you can barely function, you miss your bus, you're late for work, your boss is breathing down your neck, all because you skipped your morning cup of joe. See, even the smallest changes can have a ripple effect, turning your perfectly ordered world into a chaotic mess. Chapter 4. Friends are the family you choose. They're your ride or die, your partners in crime, but trust, my friends, is a fragile thing. One wrong move, one act of betrayal, and it can shatter into a million pieces. Imagine this. Your best friend tells you a secret, something deeply personal. You swear you'll never tell a soul, but then you slip up, you let it slip to another friend, thinking it's harmless. Word gets back to your best friend, and boom! The trust is broken. Their world is rocked, and your friendship is left hanging by a thread. Betrayal stings, my friends, and sometimes it leaves a permanent scar. Chapter 5. Rumor has it. Remember that game of telephone we played as kids? One whispered sentence passed from person to person, and by the time it reached the end, the original message was completely distorted. That's the power of rumors. They spread like wildfire, twisting and turning, morphing into something unrecognizable. And the damage? Well, let's just say it's not pretty. Reputations tarnished, relationships ruined, all because of a juicy little tidbit that may or may not be true. Think before you speak, my friends, because once a rumor is out there, it's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. Messy, impossible, and definitely not recommended. Chapter 6, YOLO, the impulsive decision maker. We only live once, right? That's the mantra many of us live by, pushing us to seize the day and make the most out of every moment. So why not throw caution to the wind and make a few impulsive decisions? After all, spontaneity can lead to some of the most memorable experiences. Book that last-minute flight to Vegas where the lights never dim and the excitement never fades. Get that tattoo you've always wanted, a permanent reminder of your boldness, or even quit your job and become a professional hamster whisperer chasing a dream that's as unique as you are. Sounds exciting, until it backfires. The thrill of the moment can quickly turn into regret. You wake up in Vegas with a killer hangover, a questionable tattoo that seemed like a good idea at the time, and the realization that hamster whispering isn't as lucrative as you thought. The dream job turns out to be more of a financial nightmare. Impulsive decisions, my friends, are like playing Russian roulette with your life. Each choice is a gamble, with stakes higher than you might anticipate. Sure, it might be a wild ride, filled with adrenaline and excitement, but the consequences can be pretty darn drastic. The aftermath of those split-second decisions can leave you reeling. Trust me, I've learned this one the hard way. Sometimes the best stories come from the most reckless choices, but so do the biggest regrets. Chapter 7. Life Change. Hold my drink. You're bored with your life. Every day feels like a monotonous loop, and you can't shake the feeling that there's something more out there for you. Stuck in a rut, craving excitement. You find yourself daydreaming about adventures and new beginnings, wishing for a change that could shake things up. So you decide to make a drastic change. You start planning, researching, and imagining a new life in a far-off place. You sell all your belongings, pack a bag, and buy a one-way ticket to a remote island. You're finally free. The thrill of the unknown excites you, except island life isn't all sunshine and coconuts. The reality of living in a new place hits you hard. You miss your family, your friends, and the comfort of your old life. The familiar faces and places you took for granted now seem like a distant dream. The reality of your drastic decision hits you like a ton of bricks. The initial excitement fades, replaced by a sense of overwhelming uncertainty. See, sometimes even the most exciting changes can leave you feeling lost and alone. The adventure you dreamed of turns into a challenge you didn't anticipate. So think twice before you make that life-altering decision. Weigh the pros and cons, and consider the impact on your mental and emotional well-being. It might sound epic in your head, but reality has a funny way of biting you in the... Well, you get the idea. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Outro reality ruined, mission accomplished. And there you have it, folks. 7 ways to completely ruin your reality in just 7 minutes. Remember, this is all in good fun, so think twice before trying any of these at home. Life's about finding the right balance between chaos and stability. Sure, a little mischief never hurt anyone, but always remember the consequences. Until next time, stay safe and stay sane.